Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, I am Regita Putri Nurrahma from Elementary School Teacher Education, Faculty of Education, Indonesia University of Education. This time, I will present the result of a systematic literature review, and the title is The Effect of Problem Posing in Primary School Learning, Impact on Students' Cognitive Skills. In the 21st century era of education, higher order thinking skills such as creative, critical, analytical, and reflective thinking are key requirements for the younger generation to facing the complexities of life. To ensure the development of higher order thinking skill from an early age, cognitive achievement in elementary school is the foundation for successful learning at the next level. Good cognitive outcomes include not only the ability to remembering and understanding, but also the ability to apply, analyze, and evaluate knowledge at the new context. However, elementary school still tend to use teacher-centered learning and solve predetermined problems. To overcome this condition, a more innovative learning approach is needed. One relevant and effective approach is problem posing, a strategy that requires students to formulate, change, or create problem as part of the learning process. Studies on problem posing are commonly found at the secondary level, and systemic studies on problem posing and its effect on the cognitive outcomes of elementary school students are still limited. The purpose of this study is to analyze trends from 2019 to 2025, identify theoretical or empirical gaps, and formulate new research direction. So I formulated 6 questions, namely 2 bibliometric questions and 4 research questions. The design of this research is a systematic literature review following the Prisma flowchart guidelines. The database used Scopus and Google Scholar with string using the Publish or Perish application, and the publication period was 2019 to 2025. The number of raw article 980, and after several stages of determining the criteria according the requirements, 23 were included, and after that the data was extracted, analyzed, and grouped based on theme or findings, and the next step was to describe the findings descriptively to answer the research question. The result for the first question is research activity on the topic of problem posing in elementary school from 2019 to 2024 saw considerable fluctuation. This trend saw a pattern of sharp initial growth, followed by a consolidation phase, and finally reaching stability. In 2019, there was only one publication. Then, in 2020, there was a remarkable increase with 7 publications, making it the highest number and most productive year in the observation period. And after 2020, the number of publications declined sharply and tend to stagnate. The decline after the peak in 2020 year might indicate a rapid reaction to the importance of the topic. And then in 2023 to 2024, there was a significant increase that continued in 2024, indicate that the topic of problem posing has reached a sustainable level of scientific productivity. The result for the second question is based on the first viewer visualization. The keyword with the largest and most central node is problem posing, which confirms that the main focus of the entire research network is this concept. The dominant themes in problem posing research in elementary school can be grouped into 3 main focus. One, institutional context and learning models. The majority of research explicitly takes the background of implementation at the elementary school level, and there is a clear integration with the blended learning model. Two, cognitive outcomes. The main objective of implementing problem posing is to improve students' higher order cognitive skills, and the two most dominant themes with strong connection are the improvement of problem solving and critical thinking abilities, and 3 target subjects. The main focus of the research subject is elementary school student, and this research is often contextualized in mathematical learning. So research on problem posing in elementary school focus more on efforts to improve students higher order thinking skill, often through the integration of modern learning method, particularly blended learning, and is mostly applied in context of mathematics learning. Result for the third question is the application of problem posing strategies in elementary school learning generally saw a positive impact on improving student cognitive outcomes. From the synthesis, the average and gain score was 0.39 and it falls into the moderate category based on Hex and gain category table. This approach substantially influenced higher order thinking skill, higher order cognitive skill such as analysis or C4 and evaluation or C5. In problem posing, students become active subject who explore their abilities to discover knowledge through the process of formulating, posing, and solving their own problems. The effectiveness of problem posing is highly dependent on the quality of its implementation in the classroom. Research show that higher of gain increase tend to result from studies that include strong teacher guidance, initial examples, and systematic reflection stage. Consistent application of problem posing provides improved outcomes from elementary school student, particularly in strengthening higher order cognitive skill and conceptual understanding. The result for the fourth question is based on a systematic analysis of 23 articles. Mathematics is the most dominant learning context and saw the highest effectiveness in the application of problem posing strategies in elementary school. This dominance indicates strong historical roots and conceptual frameworks in mathematics learning. Mathematics shows consistent positive effects with an average and gain of 0.46, and science show similar or even better potential with an gain average of 0.49, but science research base is still very limited, and so its generalization still requires further validation. And the other contexts like literacy or thematic learning also saw positive effect, but the evidence is still qualitative and limited to certain groups. The result for the fifth question is the effect of problem posing on elementary school students' learning outcomes is explained through a complex and nonlinear cause and effect process. This mechanism consists of three sequential stages: cognitive activation, mediator, and cognitive outcome. Stage 1, cognitive activation. Problem posing serves as a trigger for the development of higher order cognitive skill through four main components: metacognition, critical thinking, creative thinking, and science process skill. Stage 2, mediator. Cognitive activation is mediated by important affective and contextual elements like self-efficacy and self-confidence. These affective aspects are very important as mediator. Students with high self-confidence achieve higher average cognitive scores, 85, compared to students with low self-confidence, only 64. And meaningful learning, problem posing connects abstract concept like mathematics with students' real-life experience and personal context. And stage 3, cognitive outcomes. The combination of activation, cognitive, and mediators result in improvement in cognitive outcomes, particularly problem-solving skills. Problem posing and problem solving are two sides of the same coin that form a mutually reinforcing positive feedback loop. The result for the sixth question is the effectiveness of the problem posing strategy in improving the cognitive outcomes of elementary school students is not always consistent and is highly dependent on the interaction between controllable reinforcing factors and limiting factors that need to be reduced. This strategy requires high precondition both in terms of students' initial abilities and teachers' teaching competencies. Reinforcing factors are mostly found in pedagogical and students' dimension, namely in terms of media support or scaffolding, instructional design, learning context, and students' characteristics such as self-confidence. Limiting factors covers all three dimensions, namely teachers' lack of understanding, text and material characteristic, duration and time, curriculum and its implementation, and learning condition. And the conclusion is a systematic literature review of 23 articles published between 2019 and 2024 shows that problem posing has a significant impact on improving students' cognitive outcomes at the elementary school level, with an average and gain of 0.39, which is classified as moderate. Mathematics emerged as the most effective learning context with an gain of 0.46, especially in the topics of fraction and mixed calculation, although science also saw good potential with an gain of 0.49, but problem posing is more effective in higher grades, actually in grades 4 to 6. and function through complex mechanisms involving cognitive activation, mediators such as self-confidence and self-efficacy, and cognitive outcomes. Its successful implementation is highly dependent on reinforcing factors such as pedagogical support, like guided learning, question box, and the authors, and student dimension, but it is hampered by lack of teacher understanding, material characteristic, and implementation complexity. These findings indicate that problem posing is more than just a teaching technique. It is an effective tool for promoting comprehensive cognitive transformation in elementary school students, especially when supported by a well-structured learning environment. Suggestions for future research include exploring problem posing in lower grades and examining its effectiveness in non-mathematic subject and analyzing the comparison between problem posing as a primary strategy and as a strategic support. That's all I can say. I'm sorry if there are many mistakes. Thank you for your attention. See you.